Well, chapter 16 of Isaiah is not another revelation. This is actually a continuation. I misspoke at the end of chapter 15. Sorry about that. This is a continuation of that same revelation that we get from chapter 15. So let's continue on as we're talking about the land of Moab. And if you don't know who they are, watch chapter 15's video. That'll get you up to speed, and then we can do chapter 16 as well. So verse 1, send ye the lamb to the ruler of the land, from Selah to the wilderness, unto the mount of the daughter of Zion. So they're sending a lamb. This is a sacrifice. This is an offering unto the mount of the daughter of Zion. This is the tabernacle. Send this up to the temple or tabernacle, basically, for your offering. Verse 2, for it shall be that as a wandering bird cast out of the nest, so the daughters of Moab shall be at the fords of Arnon. So when we look at this, Isaiah paints, this is some interesting ideas here. Isaiah paints a powerful picture of the helpless, confused state of Moab under the hand of God's judgment. They are like a wandering bird thrown out of the nest, confused, weak, and vulnerable. Their only recourse is to submit themselves to Jerusalem and its king again. This is from the Enduring World Bible Commentary. So that's their thoughts, that Moab's destroyed. They have nowhere to go. Their land is just useless to live in now. They're looking for a place to stay, to keep living. The best bet for them is to be a servant of Jerusalem, servant of Israel, basically. So that's what's going on here. Now, verse 3, it says, take counsel, execute judgment, make thy shadow as the night in the midst of the noonday, hide the outcasts, bewray not him that wandereth. So Israel should be willing to help the outcasts of Moab. This is verse 3 is more of like, look, Israel, you need to help your cousins out. So this is also an important idea for us when you think of a church, the church should be willing to help displaced people. People who can't help themselves. This is kind of a charge for the people of God, which is the church, is the way to think about the people of God. Their job is to help those who can't help themselves. Just like how Moab is going to be destitute, and Jerusalem and Israel is supposed to help them out. So now, this is a little bit interesting. Some people believe verse 4, we're going to read in just a second, is an end times prophecy of Israel finding shelter in the lands of Moab from the Old Testament times. So Israel should help Moab back then, and Moab will help Israel in the last days, or the area we would call Moab. So let's read verse 4 to kind of think about this idea. This could be a latter-day prophecy. It says, let mine outcasts dwell with thee, Moab. Be thou a covert to them from the face of the spoiler. For the extortioner is at an end, the spoiler ceaseth, the oppressors are consumed out of the land. So now we have Moab being told, let mine outcasts dwell with thee. So Moab's destroyed. But hey, by the way, Moab, you need to let my outcasts stay with you. So this is when Israel is in bad shape. You should help Israel. Israel's helping you now, is going to help you through this. But in the future, you should help Israel through their stuff as well. Verse 5, continuing on here, and in mercy shall the throne be established. He shall sit upon it in truth in the tabernacle of David, judging and seeking judgment and hasting righteousness. Who's going to be the righteous ruler in the throne of David? That is Jesus Christ. He is going to fulfill that spot, basically. Now, verse 6, we have heard the pride of Moab. He is very proud, even of his haughtiness and his pride and his wrath. But his lies shall not be so. Therefore shall Moab howl for Moab. Everyone shall howl. For the foundations of Kirharesheth shall ye mourn. Surely they are stricken. For the fields of Heshbon languish, the vine of Sibmah, the lords of the heathen have broken down the principal plants thereof. They are come even to Jazer, they wandered through the wilderness. Her branches are stretched out, they are gone over the sea. So this is getting into the idea, the nations of the earth who are likened to Moab are high and mighty forces, but will be brought to howl and mourn. Their defenses will come to naught, their wealth and abundance of food will fail, And in place of their joy, as they suppose, they will be pierced with sorrow to the center. At that day, the world will finally come to understand that wickedness never was happiness. That's the Old Testament study manual. So that's what they're getting at here is the destruction is going to be crazy. And there's going to be a lot of problems. Verse 9, therefore I will be well with the weeping of Jazer, the vine of Sibmah. I will water thee with my tears, O Heshbon and Eliah. For the shouting for thy summer fruits, and for the harvest is fallen, and gladness is taken away, and joy out of the plentiful field. And in the vineyards there shall be no singing, neither shall there be shouting. The treader shall tread out no wine in their presses. I have made their vintage shouting to cease. So again, it's the destruction is going to be so bad that people are going to go, this isn't working. We need to do something else. Let's go to God and work with him. And God is going to be there. He's crying over him. He's sad. He's mourning for all this destruction that happened. Verse 11, wherefore my bowels shall sound like an harp for Moab, and mine inward parts for Kir Haresh. And it shall come to pass when it is seen that Moab is weary on the high place, that he shall come to his sanctuary to pray, but he shall not prevail. This is the word that the Lord has spoken concerning Moab since that time. But now the Lord has spoken, saying, within 3 years, as the years of an hireling, and the glory of Moab shall be condemned, with all that great multitude, and the remnant shall be very small and feeble. So again, God's mercy is going to win the day. The people are going to destroy themselves. God's going, no, don't destroy yourselves. God's going to be sad and sorrowful because the wicked are going to destroy the wicked. They're going to get to a point where they go, this isn't working. We need to turn to God for help. They turn to God. He says, yes, I will help you. I am there for you. Finally, you're listening. That is what this is getting at, basically. And so this is still the last days is going to happen again, where people say, finally, enough is enough. We need God. We need to get back to what we need to do. We need to pray, and we need to bring this around. So this is that pride cycle coming around to the other side is where we're at. So that's what has happened back then, of course, and that's what is going to happen in the last days as well. We're still moving into that. We're in this bottom part of the pride cycle where it's about to get where the destructions really start kicking in and getting way, way worse. And then it's going to start picking up after that and getting worse. And then finally getting to that point where the people go, this isn't working. We need to do something different. So that's about the area where we're at, basically. Well, let's jump over to our next chapter as we continue to study Isaiah.